All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Your Detroit Lions are 13-2. They have won 13 games for the first time in franchise history, and there's only 2 games left on the season, and that is the video. Thank you guys for watching. I'm just kidding, but the Detroit Lions are 13-2, man. They're 13-2, 34-17 road victory against the Bears in today's afternoon game. Never easy playing Chicago in general, as we saw on Thanksgiving, as every NFC North team has felt at one point or another this year. It is not easy to go into Chicago in December, especially late December, and just win a football game. So especially for a team that hasn't won in forever, this game was never close at any point, shape, or form. Caleb Williams has a very bright future, but the Detroit Lions, there's clear levels to this, and Detroit should be, the favorite, if not. I know, man. I know Philly's good. I know Minnesota is good. Detroit's just really freaking good. I mean, they're really good. I actually have the halftime stats. We're going to get into, obviously, the game recap here in a second. Here are the halftime stats of this. It was 27-14. The Chicago Bears had a kind of last minute towards the 40-second mark of the second quarter to get it to 27-14, but up until that point, it was 27-7. The Detroit Lions had 357 total yards of offense, averaging almost 9 yards per play at halftime. It was insane. Jared Goff, 23-32, 336 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. The intentional stumble he finds in play action with Jahmyr Gibbs. Him and Jahmyr Gibbs, I had the clip on it earlier today. Sorry, man. I wish we could show I wish I could just show the literal game. I wish I could show the highlights, but unfortunately, I'm not the NFL. Good time to get into this. Welcome back to the channel. Obviously, we're talking about the Detroit Lions. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. Guys, I know this is annoying. We're 70 subs away from 1,000 subs on our Lions channel. I'll pin it in the comments. I'll apologize if I'm a little bit out of it, a little bit low energy. I am desperately ill, but we are powering through it. The intentional stumble. I mean, it's just hilarious. It's comical. It almost feels like rubbing salt in the Chicago Bears wounds here. It was beautiful. Sam Laporta was wide open, but let's just get some player statistics. Jahmyr Gibbs, 23 carries, 109 yards, and a touchdown. He averaged 4.7 yards per carry. Craig Reynolds had a couple of nice runs as well. They ran the ball 32 times for 146 yards, averaging 4.6 yards per carry and that touchdown. And here's the thing. Jahmyr Gibbs had a beautiful spin on Kyler Gordon. I made a video on my Lions channel a couple of days ago, and somebody was just like, can we shut the F up about these injuries? Next man up. Like, let's just move on. And I thought about it, and I saw that comment. It was this morning. I saw that comment. I was like, you're 100,000 billion% right. I love David Montgomery, and I'm not going to speculate if David Montgomery is going to be able to play in the conference championship or if he can come back for the Super Bowl or, all these hypothetical questions. Jahmyr Gibbs is a freaking stud, and Craig Reynolds is talented, and Sione Vaki is talented. But Jahmyr Gibbs, he's like Bijan Robinson, right? And Bijan with Atlanta, Tyler Algier, their backup, you don't think of him too much. He's still a really good backup running back, but I kind of want to switch these injuries into a positive notion in the sense of, all right, Jahmyr Gibbs was a very early first-round pick a couple of years ago, and in the limited time we have seen him, by limited I just mean he's got to split carries with David Montgomery. The dude's been a stud, right? Jahmyr Gibbs is a literal stud. He's on his way to stardom. But if I told you Jahmyr Gibbs will be a superstar in 3 years, you're like, yep, that 100% checks out. And so against a very good Chicago Bears defense, he did more than enough. Jameson Williams, another reason. So the Detroit Lions defense is mainly the one that's decimated, right? Their defense is decimated. But as you saw, like today, Melifonwu came back, had a sack on the first, I think it was the first possession. Welcome back, Melifonwu. The dude was a beast last year for Detroit. It's that next man up mentality, but the biggest concern, if you're a team in the NFC or if you're a team in the NFL, is the Detroit Lions offense. Because Jared Goff, whether you want to believe it or not, that's not even with Lions fans, he's a legitimate MVP case. Legitimate MVP case, right? Jameson Williams was drafted in the first round 2 years ago. And obviously he had torn his ACL in the championship game or, in his last game in college football. And so we only saw him catch, I believe, one ball for, I think it was 50, 55 yards in his rookie season. Last year, we saw the flashes, we saw the glimpses. And then Detroit didn't, go out there and, they lost Josh Reynolds and they didn't go out there and get a solidified wide receiver too. And the obvious thought process was, well, that's what Jameson Williams is for. And we've seen, I think they said it on the announcers. It was a very boring announcing game, I might add. No shade thrown. Jameson Williams has like 5 catches for 50 plus this year. The dude's a stud. He has 42 catches for 750 yards heading into this football game. He had an 82-yarder where he just burned Tyreek Stevenson, and I think it was Kevin Byard. He burned him for an 82-yard touchdown. Beautiful throw, perfectly executed by Jared Goff. And you also have Jahmyr Gibbs. And you also have Amon-Ra St. Brown, who caught 6 catches for 70 yards. And you also have Sam Laporta, who had 4 catches for 43 yards and a touchdown. And I'm loving that we're finally seeing in the last month or so more inclusion with Sam Laporta, because last year the dude looked like he was about to be like a top 3 tight end in the National Football League. And he's such a phenomenal blocker, and the Lions have just won a lot of games in blowout fashion. But I'm just loving this Sam Laporta inclusion, and I'm loving what we're seeing from Jameson Williams. And it's just like, at the end of the day, dude, this team is still literally freaking stacked. We didn't even really see Tim Patrick today. Once again, the Lions were up 27-14 at halftime, and I never felt they didn't even score a fourth quarter point. You never felt at any point Detroit was the worst team. You never felt at any point Detroit was going to lose this game. I love watching boring games. I love watching boring games for my Green Bay Packers. I love watching boring games for the Detroit Lions, where you can just kind of sit back, relax, enjoy the win, and also just appreciate the small stuff. And one thing I really appreciated today was, Caleb Williams can throw it. Caleb Williams is going to be a good quarterback in the National Football League, and I'm very excited to watch him a couple of times a year with these NFC North teams. Let's talk about this defense real quick. Obviously, they're decimated by injuries. They only had technically 2 sacks, but it's important to keep in mind, all right, Caleb Williams threw 334 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Well, he also took 40 attempts because they were losing from the second the ball was pretty much kicked off. DeAndre Swift, the starting running back for the Chicago Bears, had 9 carries for 20 yards. As a whole, Caleb was the leading rusher, and that's not good. Chicago doesn't want that. That's good for the Detroit Lions. But my point is, when you're playing from behind and you're whipping the ball 40 times, you're going to have yards. So the Detroit Lions technically gave up 382 yards of total offense, but they also had 475. And they just barely won the time of possession battle. And it's just because when the Lions got the football, they just marched down the field and put points on the board. So don't freak out about this defense. They're getting healthier and healthier and healthier. Melifonwu Muhammad had a beautiful sack today. There was a nice there was one forced fumble on Rome Odunze, and then there was also just a botched snap from what was it, DJ? No, it was I think it was Rome Odunze and Caleb Williams, but I think Caleb might have technically gotten that. It was a good game, both offensively and defensively, and I'm going to take it. That's it for today. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. Check out that Lions channel down below. But guys, give me your thoughts. Give me a team grade rating for this Detroit Lions win down below. We'll see you in a day or two. Peace.